Hey guys, I wanted to share with you a little problem I was having with this transaxle. It's a Peerless 1200 series, I believe, 3-speed. So in the last video, when I was spinning the tires to check the dually adapters, just making sure the tires spin straight with each other and everything, I had the rear end jacked up. And as an open differential would, I'd spin this tire one way and the other side would go the opposite way. And everything else in the transmission would stay stationary because you're bypassing that. Well, I went to spin it one time and suddenly the tires locked together. It was kind of alarming. And I tried to spin it back the other way, and there was a little bit of free play, but then they locked together again. They just wouldn't separate. So I messed with it a little bit and, switched sides, and then next thing you know, it starts working normal again. And it did this a few times. And I didn't want to leave it. I didn't plan on taking it apart, but I needed to figure that out. And I knew it was isolated to just the differential. Everything else was working fine. Actually, everything's in really good shape in here. So I take it apart, and I notice when I pulled the differential apart, the snap rings that hold the axle shafts in looked like this. This side's not broke, but it's not straight anymore either. So what was happening is this broken piece, every once in a while, when I'd rotate the tires, would work itself between the side gears and the spider gears and lock it together. And what would cause that? Well, it didn't take me very long to figure out that I did when I was taking the stock hubs off. Let me see, that's a lot of surface area to be rusting together for, almost 50 years, and they didn't come off easy. It was quite a process, a lot of heat, a lot of oil. I had a 3-jaw puller on it with everything I had. That's what I was holding the hub with, my biggest pair of channel locks with one hand, and then cranking on the puller with everything I had with the other hand. And then I'd come from the back with a big flat punch and smack it with the hammer out, and it'd move about a 1/16 of an inch, and I'd have to start over, put a bunch of pressure on it again with the puller, heat it up. It took forever. So by me smacking these hubs, the snap rings didn't like that. I knew I was being rough with it, but I didn't think I was being that rough with it. So thankfully, this became apparent before, I had the vehicle weight on it or it was under its own power. Because then it might have broken something. And I'm lucky it was just the snap rings. I mean, I could have tore up the edge here. There's a thrust bearing, all that stuff I could have messed up. So luckily it's just the snap rings. And, everything is in really good shape. And I was actually able to get seals for it, so that's good. It had a pretty bad axle seal leak that I was just going to clean up and, let go. But since I needed to figure this out, well, that's a good time to do that. So now I'll clean everything up and put it back together, and I have some front spindles coming that's the next thing I got to do is start on the front axle. I wasn't able to use anything off the tractors. It was just too narrow, and a lot of that stuff was worn out already. So, all right, I just wanted to share that. So, thanks for watching. Bye.